I see, I see. So you have more than 14 years in the field of vocational training. And for those who don't really understand the term VET, or vocational education training, what is it? Can you share with us?
Well, vocational education and training covers the period of time between when people, generally speaking, leave school and start work or go on to further study. So commonly our students are in their early 20s, but vocational education and training can support people like myself even to be lifelong learners. So it's not just for that age group, but I have to say that's most commonly the students we see are post-school, ready for a career, starting some, getting a job and getting on with their life and earning their income.
So what's the difference then between, vocational education training and university education or upper high school education?
Well, I think the key difference is the practical focus of vocational education and training. Certainly in Australia, the qualifications are focused towards doing things as well as knowing things. And knowing things is an important thing, don't get me wrong, but vocational training is about doing things as well, practical jobs, practical outcomes and careers, across the spectrum in all sorts of things, from manufacturing to healthcare services to IT, cybersecurity, what have you. But it's about practical, focused, hands-on training that's really designed towards employment.
Right. So you mentioned a few names, right, in the beginning of this talk today, in the 5 seconds challenge. I'm quite curious. What do people study in some of the most popular, vocational specializations? Right. You call them specializations, not necessarily major.
Yes.
So
That's right.
What are these common things that people study, and what exactly are they?
Well, some of those popular courses that I spoke about before, I'm sure in Vietnam it's the same in some ways in Australia, in that our healthcare sector is in need of workers and lots of people choosing that career. So it's no surprise that people coming from overseas, including Vietnam, to Australia are studying things like nursing, healthcare, aged care, and I'd add childcare to that as well. But apart from that, then also manufacturing, engineering, automotive and construction qualifications all have very high job prospects in Australia.
What if I'm 24, 25? What's going to be your advice to me?
Yeah, my advice would be, what skills have you already got? What do you like? At the age of 17 that we spoke about, it's probably you're going to try a few things before you find something that really interests you. But by that age that you've mentioned, you really should be starting to have an idea of what you love doing. And if you're at the stage where you've got some skills already, then maybe it's time to go deeper at this point. And that means in some areas a second qualification or updating your skills so that you can move to something where you might start to be leading other people, influencing other people. So start to consider what's next in the chapters. What's coming up for you and what vocational support might you need for that.
That's really useful advice. And what if I'm in my 30s going on to my 40s? So in between 30 and 40.
Well, it's still a question of what's next, isn't it?
Yes.
But no doubt, always, but no doubt at that time, with an amount of experience behind you, then it's time for those higher level qualifications. Our presenter before mentioned the Australian system is built on levels. So for those that maybe understand that, you're starting to talk about a certificate level 4 or diplomas or advanced diplomas, moving into potentially university and more theoretical study. Leadership, supervision and leadership and management become really important at that stage of people's lives, and we commonly see people studying things like frontline management, leadership and even higher levels of their skills, but moving into the supervision and leadership area, I would say, potentially at that point. Mm-hmm. We're becoming more expert as well.
All right, thank you, John. That's very, very useful advice. I could still go up to an older audience as well, but the majority of our audience is probably around that age, so so I'll keep it relevant. Another final question in this segment is, what's your advice to students who really don't know what they like? Because it feels like to select a vocational study, the student has to kind of be sure about what they want to study. There are a lot of students we come across who ask us, like, how do I find out what I like? Any advice to that?
I would say just get started because sometimes starting something sparks an interest, and it might mean that you turn into a slightly different direction, but get started in something.
John, that's really valuable advice. Thank you.